Today's agenda will be about looking at why it might be valuable to extract text, what you could use it for, how it works, and some of the advances that have been made that make it more accessible to people, some apps and tools that are available for it that make it a bit easier to utilize and make it more accessible on multiple devices, and some demonstrations. We'll take a look at some demonstrations and some different ways to use it in Windows and on apps for phones. And I found that the apps on Android work on iPhones as well. So I may just use my iPhone to demonstrate those, only because there's no real need to switch back and forth between them because the apps work the same. You may or may not be extracting text from images now, but you can take a photo of something. If that something has text in it, you can actually use tools now that will extract and pull the text out for things like saving receipts, pulling excerpts from books. I use most of my Kindle now for reading books, and Kindle doesn't allow you to very easily select and copy and paste things. So what I do oftentimes is I'll take a picture of a page that I want to take an excerpt from, and then I'll use a excerpt tool to take some text from that to save it in a note for myself. You can digitize handwriting, depending on the tool. Some are better than others, and you can use it for translation. Now, a lot of this is done through what is commonly called optical character recognition, or OCR. And in the beginning of OCR, it was limited to specific types of document formats, like a A4 or 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and it had to have specific fonts and only recognized certain limitations of fonts. As AI and machine learning have been applied to OCR, it's made it possible to extract and do optical character recognition from a lot of different resources and tools. And we'll even take a look at how ChatGPT or maybe Gemini takes and again can extract text, because that can be used as well for learning things about what comes out of an image too. So as these AI and machine learning improvements have taken place, we've been getting better, more functional apps and more tools. Our tools are becoming richer at being able to do these things. Now, smartphones have become probably the standard device to use for using optical character recognition. The lenses and our cameras and smartphones have gotten better and better and better and better. And the fact that we have AI-powered optical character recognition apps, and the combination of that AI and camera functionality has really improved the accuracy and functionality of the ability to use apps on our smartphones in combination with the camera and the processing AI capability to be able to get a lot of image recognition. Now, iPhones, iPads, and Macs use a function called live text. It's built into the Photos app on your Apple device. It's also in the Notes app. So you can actually extract text from notes when you do it as a screen capture or a text capture. So we'll take a look at that. But the Apple Photos app and the Apple Notes app are only on Apple devices. So if you have something else, like an Android phone, or even if you have an iPhone, you can use Google Photos. Google Photos has some text extraction functionality, and Microsoft Lens, which is a free download, also has some of this image extraction capability. So basically, you can take a picture or scan a document, but that doesn't actually give you the ability to extract the text out of it and use it in something else, like a Word document or some other resource that you might want to use for. The extraction function gives you that capability to do that. Windows has a snipping tool that's in Windows 11. From what I understand, the Windows 10 snip tool doesn't do this. There's also a functionality in OneNote where there is an optical character recognition capability in the OneNote app. I don't know if we'll have time to go to that, but we are going to try and take a look at the snipping tool and see what that will do for us. And then Mac also on Photos, it also is a preview function that exists on a Mac that does give you some ability to select text from an image that's opened up in the preview app on a Mac as well. And there's other tools like Google Translate that will look at something and can give you the ability to translate. It is great for when you're traveling and need to do signage, but even if you're looking at something that's not in English, you can point it at a document, the camera on your phone, and you can download it for both iPhone and Android. And then AI image extraction can do some interesting things as well. Now I'm going to share my Mac screen. iPhone photos and Mac, photos works the same way. So if I'm looking at an image in my Photos app here, I'm going to open up this image. If you do it on your phone, you'll see this little icon in the lower right-hand corner here. This gives you the ability, when you click on that, it selects all the text. So if you unclick it, it unselects. So if you click it, it'll select all the text. Then you can click copy all, and you can paste it into a document, a note, or any other application on your phone. So this is a pretty good way if you ever want to take an excerpt from a document and you want to see what's in it, it gives you the ability to do it. And you can copy and paste it. So I use it a lot for excerpts from books. This is a judgment document that was done that I found in Paris. And when you click on the extract text here, it automatically gave me the ability to click on translate. And it's going to translate. This is a judgment by the criminal court that was established in France. And it actually, I think, is a judgment against Marie Antoinette, if I'm not mistaken, that I took. So this exists. It works exactly the same way on your phone with Photos, on your Mac with Photos, and on your iPad with Photos. It's built into this Photos app, and that's the live text function that exists, and it gives you the ability to pull information out of anything. Let's try something like this, where it's handwriting. If I use live text here, it'll copy it, and it'll give me the ability to paste it as text into another document. Let's take something a little bit more obscure here and see what it does there. It pulls it out. It also gives us a translate function because it's detected another language. So it gives me a translation right away of what it's available without even actually having to copy and paste it. So this little tool that comes up in Apple devices, here's a sign that I took a picture of, something a little bit more difficult. It does a pretty decent job. So anytime you take a photo of something on your Apple device, you'll have the ability to have it extract the text and take a look at different things on it too. Now, I also have Google Photos here. So let me go to Google and take a look at Google Photos. There are some tools in Google Photos that are here that I can look at. And I'll get that set up. Okay, and I have some handwriting that I did here. I'm going to take a picture of something that I have some text from and see if it'll pull it out as well. So if I look at Google Photos, I'm going to share my screen here on my phone now that I have this set up, and we'll see if it shows the controls here or not. If I look at Google Photos here, it's not showing the icons, unfortunately, at the bottom of my screen. But at the bottom of my screen, there is an icon called Lens. And Lens will search for things here. I can translate items here if I want to, and I can select the text using it on my phone. So there's buttons in Google Lens that gives you the ability to do that are capable of doing that as well. Let me try opening up Microsoft Lens. and see what that's going to do with it, if it does anything. So I'm going to keep the selection. I'm going to discard that. I'm going to take a look at a document here. And you can see at the bottom, I've got some things called actions document. If I go to actions, it'll give me the ability, and this icon is pretty commonly used. This is the icon that you couldn't see on my app for the Photos app, but that icon will show up in the lower right-hand corner if you've got text. I'm going to move my keyboard out of the way because I learned to capture this. But if I want to capture the texture, I can just tap capture and I can confirm it, and it extracts the data using Microsoft's Lens app. And it didn't work. Sometimes it can't find it. So depending on the capability you've got and the tools you've got, it may or may not work. Let's try a book cover here and see if it'll extract the text here. And we'll see what kind of data it pulls out of this. And sometimes it will do a better job with handwriting. Some will do something better. So it just took the title here, Complete Spanish Step by Step. I found that if I could use it to select areas here, and it would actually select areas that I wanted it to use. So if I capture this again, and I use these scrolling area, cropping area here to pick out, I can actually get it to extract text from that area of the image as well. So here it's actually extracted that information, and I can copy this and paste it into any other type of application that I use. So I found Lens is probably one of the easier ones to work with. I'm going to try doing something in notes here and creating a note and see if I can get it to recognize handwriting. And then we'll take a look at some windows. So if I go to notes here and I go to the icon here that says choose a video, take a video, scan documents, scan text. So let's try scanning text. I don't know how that'll work, but let's hold it over here and let's try it. The insert worked. Let's see if insert, yeah. So it actually was able to read that handwriting except for my last name. Of course, I signed my name really bad. So that's not a problem, I don't think. But it did a pretty good job. It actually will do it right in a note. So Apple's Notes is probably one of the other ways you can do it. So you don't have to go to a photo, copy the text from a photo, and then paste it into a note. You can start from a note and do it that way as well. And so that's another option to do it. And so Google, Lens, Microsoft Lens. Let's take a look at a Windows device and see if I can remember how to do this on Windows. And we'll see if we can get the sharing up and get it going. I set up some images here on my Windows desktop here. And then I set up the snipping tool here. So if I select the snipping tool and I click on, I could use the Windows logo key, Shift and S to start a snip. But I'm just going to click New Snip here, and I'm going to select an area here. And it may or may not extract the text for me. Sometimes it's done it, sometimes it hasn't. But there is an option at the bottom here where you can see this text actions. Same icon that's used on Notes, on Google, on Apple, on Microsoft Lens. And so it might do a good job. It did actually gave me the ability to copy all that text. So I can copy all that text. I could open up a Word document and I can paste it in. So with Windows 11, the snipping tool does a pretty good job here. So let me paste that in and see what happens. So there it pasted everything in. This is a fraud email that came in. It tells you a little about the image. So it says you have a U.S. Postal Service parcel being cleared, and I'm going to do some presentations on scams, and this is an example of pulling extract from that. So the snipping tool is one of your tools in Windows that makes it available really, really easy. But just look for this icon. Wherever you see this icon, called text actions, and any type of information you pull in. I don't know if this is a visual search with Bing. That's not really extracting text, but you'll find these options available to you that you can pull. Each one's going to be a little bit different or better than the other in terms of what you use, but they're all going to be pretty functional. So just take advantage of them and using them. And that's really what I wanted to show you today, was just some of the tools. I use the Notes app a lot. Like I say, because I read on a Kindle a lot. If I want to save an excerpt from a book, I'll open up my notes. I'll take a screen. I'll use it to take a screenshot to extract the text from the note, and it really works really fast. But you can use it into a variety of other things. I know some people really are big fans of using Microsoft Lens. Some people, Apple users, will probably like to use Notes and Photos. But there's even some tools with AI. And let's take a look at ChatGPT here just for fun. Let me share my screen. And I'm going to just drag some images into ChatGPT. I got this one of a storefront that I took. And this is a chocolate store in Madrid. It actually figured it out already. And so one of the things about ChatGPT and AI is that it has great capability to recognize things that are in an image to tell you what it is. If I pull another image here and I want to use it, this is not so good. This was an airline terminal display. Tell me what text is in this image. It didn't do a good job the last time I checked it out. And see, I was getting ready to board a flight to Los Angeles, and so it did pull it out. Okay, it's pulling it out now. I wasn't on the wait list for that one, unfortunately. And so if we go to another one like this is a list of books. I'll just say extract the text and do it that way. It's a picture I took of a page of a list of top 10 books that the New York Times has, and it'll pull things out really, really well for you and make a nice little list for you, and you can copy and paste these things. So, I have the pro version of ChatGPT, but I think this will probably give you the ability to do it in the free version. Gemini will do the same thing. If we go over to Gemini and we take a look at Gemini and AI and take a look at what it'll do for us, we can go here and let me just pull this image into this and see if it's going to extract the text. And you have the ability to do these things with a lot of different tools. So it does a pretty good job with Gemini. So you can, we may not think about using AI for these things. I wonder if it'll recognize the chocolate shop. Let's try that and see if it tell me about this place. And I mean, Google has a lot of photos, places from Google Maps. So it's got a really, really good set of resources and gave me a lot of stuff here. And it's one of these things that it is the chocolate shop in Madrid you're supposed to go visit. And they have churros that you dip in chocolate, which is really great.